And we are live. We are live, and man, am I thrilled and am I pumped. We're live on a Thursday evening. We're going to do a very special show. We're going to talk about Purgatory in the Deuterocanon. Second Maccabees, we're going to open up for you all. You all are going to have a great time because not only are we going to talk about Purgatory in the Deuterocanon, because we're live here on Patristic Pillars and on the Apocryphal Apocalypse, but we're going to go over our top 10 favorite horror movies. We've never done that before. Gary, my friend, how you doing, brother? How you been?
Hey, I'm thrilled and pumped. This is awesome. Halloween Eve, and to be here with you. And I'm really interested to hear your top 10 horror movies. I wonder where we agree and where we disagree.
Yeah, so let me tell the audience one thing. I've got Gary's list. He does not know mine. And the shocking thing I'll tell the audience, and I was very shocked. In fact, I shared it right away with my daughter. There was no overlap. There was no overlap.
None whatsoever.
Not even one.
Wow.
Not even one, which is good, meaning we've got a uniquely different top 10 list. Not even one. I will say this. That doesn't mean I didn't like your list. I loved your list. I thought your list was phenomenal, and we're going to see how I loved it when we get there. We're going to have a lot of fun, audience. You all are in for a blast. But the first hour, we're going to go over Purgatory. Second Maccabees, Purgatory, whatever you guys have in your mind. We'd love to hear from you. In fact, we're doing this show for you all. We're going to have a blast, but I am going to pin the link right away. So you all, if you all want to join us, we'd love to hear from you. Remember, do not send in your questions about horror movies yet. Wait till we get there. That'll be the second hour, guys. Right now, we want to cover Purgatory, Prayer for the Dead, Second Maccabees. Guys, we're thrilled and we're pumped to be here. Gary, get it started, man. Gary, get it started. What do you think? What do you got in your mind? Second Maccabees. What are your thoughts on Second Maccabees?
Well, that's the classic text for Purgatory. Of course, that's not the only text.
Sure.
But it's important enough that it caused Luther to punt when he was debating Purgatory. And so I thought, it's been a while since we addressed it. And I thought this would be a cool thing for, Halloween, prayers for the dead. All Souls Day is coming up.
Oh, yeah.
So this kind of fits in line with all of that. So it's a classic text, and there's a couple of pushbacks, and I thought, why don't we go over it?
Yeah, and in fact, if we don't get any of the classical pushbacks, I'll toss them out there. I'll play a little bit of devil's advocate. I hope we get a little bit of them. And for you, the audience, we'd love to hear any from you all. What do you have on your mind, everybody? And don't worry, Jimmy, you are phenomenal. Thank you for your support. Guys, you get your comments in horror movies. We're going to get to them later. We will get to every comment you guys make. If you guys make a comment about a horror movie or a question about Purgatory, we'll get to them. Do not worry. We're thrilled and we're pumped to be here. Let's dive in.
Yeah.
I'll begin right around verse 30. In fact, let me read, and then we'll dive in. Let's begin right around verse 36. And right now we're looking at Second Maccabees. By the way, we got a great crowd. You guys, thank you for tuning in. I hope you all are excited as I am. In fact, I am very thrilled and pumped. I am so thrilled and pumped that I don't want to show it yet. I'll wait till we get to that part. I don't want to reveal it yet. We'll wait till we get to that really, really cool part, and I'll reveal what I got here. I got something really cool here. If you're a horror movie fan, I got something really cool here, guys, but I'm not going to reveal it till later. You're going to have to stick around. Let me read. Let's dive in.
Okay.
As Esdras and his men had been fighting for a long time and were weary, Judas called upon the Lord to show himself their ally and leader in the battle. In the language of their ancestors, he raised the battle cry with hymns. Then he charged against gorgeous troops when they were not expecting it, and he put them to flight. Now we're reading about the chronicles of Judas, Maccabees, and his men. They're fighting for the one true God. They're battling, and they are defending. They're defending themselves and their people for the one true God against the enemies. And then we read, okay, people are put to flight. Then Judas assembled his army and went to the city of Adullam. As the seventh day was coming on, they purified themselves according to the custom, and they kept the Sabbath there. On the next day, as had now become customary or necessary, depending on what translation you have, Judas and his men went to take up the bodies of the fallen and to bring them to lie with their kindred in the tombs of their ancestors. So they're going to pause for a moment. We're about to get to the popular prayer for the dead text, the purgatorial text that Luther eventually detested beyond belief. But before we arrive there, it really does seem to us that this, indeed, as the Greek lays out, this had become customary, necessary, meaning it happened often, meaning they'd go into war, their fallen would die, and they would pick up the fallen and they take them to lie with their relatives, with their kinsmen in the tombs of their ancestors, meaning this wasn't the first rodeo for Judas Maccabeus. And indeed, how could it be? We're talking about wars that had been going on for a bit. So this has become customary. It was already something that had been done. They are going to collect the bodies of those that have died and fallen to take them to lie in the tombs of their ancestors, which was customary. That was customary. Now that we have that out of the way, I want to emphasize that point. This was customary, necessary. This had been done more than once. Gary, I imagine you're able to, you extrapolate the very same, that this has been done more than once. I think that's what we can extrapolate from the clear language before our eyes.
Yes, but with the battles with the Maccabees, though, they were their victories were decidedly lopsided, right? Because they were fighting the wars of the Lord, right?
Yes. Yep.
So that's what makes this kind of weird, is that there was actually slaying. So why were there slaying like this? Because God's hand was with them. But you're right, though. I mean, you can see that in the book of Tobit, too, about burying the dead is a necessary act of charity. That was a high value mark. So since the Maccabees were righteous Jews, they would naturally bury them.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, very good point. And you're right that we're quite lopsided, no doubt. I mean, so lopsided that we can read a few chapters later when we get to chapter 15, that, hey, they've got, they even have saints backing them up.
Yeah.
They have got the Lord on their side and the army of the Lord. Isn't that right, Gary?
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. In fact, I was debating whether to do 2 Maccabees 15 or Purgatory, because I think both of them would be pretty cool this time of year. But
oh yeah,
maybe we could do that some other time.
Without a doubt. No, there's no doubt about that. So let's get to verse 40. We arrive at verse 40. Remember, they have gone to gather up the bodies of those that have fallen. They go to gather up those that have fallen, those that have died. Then under the tunic of each one of the dead, they found sacred tokens of the idols of Jamnia, which the law forbids the Jews to wear. And it became clear to all that this was the reason that these men had fallen. There you go. There's the reason that they died. So they all bless the ways of the Lord, the righteous judge who reveals the things that are hidden. And they turned to supplication, praying that the sin that had been committed might be wholly blotted out. The noble Judas exhorted the people to keep themselves free from sin, for they had seen with their own eyes what had happened as a result of the sin of those who had fallen. Can you help us out, Gary? What happened here? What exactly happened here?
Yeah, so they check the dead, and they find underneath their clothing these amulets that were apparently made. They were sacred amulets from Jamnia. And the law forbids the Jews to wear. And we'll talk about that, because that's going to be part of the classic comeback, right? So the reason that it's because they violated the law, that's why these particular people were slain. And therefore they turned to God with supplication. They prayed that this sinful deed might be fully blotted out.
Yep.
And also Judas warned the soldiers that they seen with their own eyes what happens when you sin, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And then, of course, at 43, that's when some really interesting stuff comes up, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, yeah, we're going to get to that in a moment. Audience, let me tell you one thing. Don't worry. If you all don't come up here with that question, I'm going to play devil's advocate. I really have. I promise you guys, I'll play devil's advocate. So let's look at that. They've fallen. They're dead. They've got these amulets, good luck tokens, whatever you want to call them, that have been discovered. This is the reason that they fell, they died. Number one, let me tell you one thing, audience. If people are wondering, okay, why were they struck dead because of that? Why is that? Well, I'm going to tell you, they didn't trust in the Lord. Period. They didn't trust in the Lord. The Lord had their back, and the Lord had promises and had given the promise that the Lord would preserve them, and they didn't trust in the Lord fully. Thus, they were wearing these sacred tokens of the idols of Jamnia. They're struck dead. But they bless all the ways of the Lord, the righteous judge who reveals the things that are hidden. And they turn to supplication, praying that sin that had been committed might be wholly blotted out. And notice how immediately the noble Judas exhorts the people to keep themselves free from sin. For they had seen with their own eyes what had happened as a result of the sin of those who had fallen. And then we get right here. He also took up a collection, man by man, to the amount of 2,000 drachmas of silver, sent it to Jerusalem to provide for a purification offering. In doing this, he acted very well and honorably, taking into account the resurrection. For if he were not expecting those who had fallen would rise again, it would have been superfluous and foolish to pray for the dead. And here's where you got the key text. Meaning, if he doesn't think they're going to rise again eventually, there is no point even praying for the dead. So Judas believes they're going to rise again. There is a point for praying for the dead. If he didn't believe that, there's not even a point to pray for the dead. But indeed, we then read, but if he was looking to the splendid reward that is laid up for those who fall asleep in godliness, it was a holy and pious thought. Therefore, he made atonement for the dead so that they might be delivered from their sin. So that means it was a holy and pious thought. It was good to pray for the dead. And Judas Maccabees was of the mindset that they died in godliness. Now, what are your thoughts thus far, Gary?
Yeah, so there's a lot here. First, they take up a collection. They send it for sacrifices to be offered for expiation of this sin. And that could be considered something like an indulgence, maybe. I mean, contributing to a third party to offer sacrifice. Let's see. Also, it's clear that the sacrifice was meant to expiate the sins of the fallen and not just for the sins for the community, right? Because if they didn't expect the resurrection of the dead, it would have been superfluous for prayers and sacrifices. And that's fascinating because in Leviticus, this sacrifice is for the community, for inadvertent sins. But Maccabees seems to suggest that the belief that the dead are still part of that community. So it actually extends to heaven, kind of anticipation of the body of Christ. Right, in the communion of the saints. And then, like you pointed out, I think, it's a holy and wholesome thought to pray for the dead that they may be released from their sins. So it affirms that these prayers and sacrifices are indeed things that are beneficial to the dead. Now, if they're in heaven, they have no need of sacrifice, right? They're in glory. They're in perfect happiness. If they're in hell, it would be no benefit. So this implies that there must be a place where they stand in need of prayers and sacrifices to be loosed from these sins. That's neither heaven nor hell, right? And that they'll benefit from these things. And that would be purgatory.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it, especially if they need to be loosed from their sin. It's very, very clear they need to be purified. And that is very purgatorial, very clearly why Luther would later very strongly reject Second Maccabees, as we know very clearly, was a desperate dodge. That was a desperate dodge. Let's look at a few super chats. Guys, you guys are great. You all can come back here if you'd like. Pick our brain. You don't have to, but you can. Jimmy, brother, we're going to get to your super chat when we get to the second hour, when we go into the horror movie section. AB, God bless you, brother. Thank you for your support, my friend. And James says, happy Deformation Day. It's Halloween for me right now. James, remind us where you're at, brother. And remind us why you're a hater, man. There's more than 102 people watching. Guys, remind me to block James later, right? To block him over at Patristic Pillars. Guys, I'm joking. I'm not going to block him. I'm not going to block him. Remind me to put him in our purgatorial section of our WhatsApp group. Did Luther believe in the purgatorial texts to be referring to purgatory? I do think he did. I do. Early on, that's very clear. Late Luther in Disavowal of Purgatorio clearly recognizes the classical passages, in particular Second Maccabees, he will fight and fight that it doesn't teach purgatory and it's being taken out of context. But he knew that that was a powerful text for purgatory. So even if he tried to deny it taught purgatory later on, he knew it was a powerful text. Isn't that right, Gary?
That's right. Yeah, back in 1519 against Eck, he says, I know purgatory exists, but he didn't believe it could be proved from the scriptures that could be entered in debate. So basically, because Second Maccabees, he didn't consider it canonical, it couldn't be entered. But, you know, the implication is, obviously, he believed that it could establish purgatory. It didn't have the authority to do so.
Yeah, no doubt. Very, very good point there. Great points. AB brings up a great one. For the edification of the audience, can you make it directly to heaven, or must you go to purgatory first? Now, Mother Teresa and the great Saint Padre Pio thought that the majority of people would go to purgatory. They thought that they were going to have to maybe go through purgatorial purification. And they were incredibly holy people. With that in mind, we leave that up to the judgment of the Lord. There's no way for any of us to know whether or not everyone's going to have to go to purgatory or whether the majority of people are going to have to go. That is up to the judgment of the Lord. Only the Lord knows everyone's hearts. But I would say that for the vast majority of us, it does seem like at the end of our life that we perhaps have not finished our sanctification process. And if that is the case, there's nothing wrong with saying that we're going to do it in the afterlife by the grace of God, as long as we end our life having finished a race, according to 1 Corinthians 9:27, as long as we do not become reprobate, adokimos, as the text says, and as long as we continue our faithful walk with the Lord. With that in mind, that is part of the good news, the fact that you're going to get to heaven, you'll be purified. So yeah, we do leave that up to the judgment of the Lord, though. But I would say probably for the vast majority of us, at the end of our lives, we probably haven't finished our sanctification process. What are your thoughts on that, Gary?
Yeah, I totally agree. And actually, I got a question for you, William.
Yeah.
Isn't it the Catholic understanding that martyrs go directly to heaven?
That's correct. Yep.
Okay.
Sure is. Yeah.
So so there are a few exceptions that it seems like that the sanctification occurs like through your martyrdom, and that's fully wiped away. But outside of that, it's difficult to say, right? Because, like you said, it's really up to the Lord, and what we're doing is, what any attachments you have to sin, that would be venial sin. So,
sure.
I mean, all of us have some attachments. So unless you're extremely holy, chances are you're going to purgatory, which isn't bad. This is something good. You know, purgatory is part of God's mercy, and everyone in purgatory is destined to heaven. It's our final sanctification, and we wouldn't want to have these attachments in heaven. Yeah.
There's no doubt about that. Great point. We would not want to. We would not be able to have them in heaven because you got to be completely pure to get into heaven. Revelation 21 is very clear about that. And we want to give a shout out to the incredible brother Joey, who did send a gifted membership. Thank you very much, Joey. Gifted membership. So look at that image, man. I got to get that. Why do you have to make me the ugly stepbrother, man? Why? Why am I the ugly stepbrother?
That's hilarious.
Oh, my goodness, man. I love Joey, man. Joey, thank you for your support. And I want to call out who got gifted here on Patristic Pillars. And over there, he sent it on the Apocrypha Apocalypse as well. Let me read them. CA got a gift. Belen Rivera, Zeke, Marks Talico, and George Jacobson. Joey, God bless you for your support, brother. And I want to give a shout out as to who got them over there at the Apocrypha Apocalypse as well. Patty Patterson, Tobet Chuku, Wavy Davy, Carlos Mabanzila, and Kristen Chittister. God bless you, Joey, even though you made me the ugly, the hideous stepbrother, man. I know. I'm going to get Joey back, man. I'm going to get him back, man. That's true. I'm the bald one, man. I'm the bald one. And we also want to give a shout out to the phenomenal Zeke. Zeke, who I will be doing a show dialoguing with by the grace of God very soon. Zeke, thank you for your incredible support over there at the Apocrypha Apocalypse. Who got memberships? I'll tell you right now. Ludendi, Chris of St. Patrick, Ariella, Santos, Timmy, Liguori Militant, Micah. Oops. What happened? Okay, Micah, Red Pill Irenaeus, Dev1, and our friend Catholic Kristen got gifted memberships. You guys are incredible. Zeke, thank you so much for your support, brother. And we'll continue. We'll go back to some super chats, or if you all come back here, you have any questions or you have anything in your mind, we'll go back to you in a bit. We'll get to every question, every comment. But I'm going to play devil's advocate now. You knew it was coming. Nobody's come back here yet to play devil's advocate. And we haven't gotten a question yet for devil's advocate yet. So let me play devil's advocate. They died in mortal sin, Gary. I mean, they got tokens, they've got idols. They were idolaters. These were not men that worshiped the one true God, Gary. They were idolaters. They were steeped in idolatry. I'm sorry, Gary. You know very well the Catholic teaching is that if you die in mortal sin, you don't go through purgatory. It's not a second chance. What are you doing now, Gary? Are you telling me there is a second chance? Are you guys inconsistent? If you're going to be consistent, Gary, you're going to have to admit that this so-called deuterocanonical book, really an apocryphal book, doesn't belong in the Bible and doesn't teach purgatory. How are you going to deal with that, Gary?
Yeah, well, then we got to talk about basic theology, right? What sends you to hell and all that good stuff. So first we have to identify what exactly is the sin that was committed, right?
Yes.
And the amulets that were sacred to the idols of Jamnia, it assumes that they committed a sin against the first commandment by worshiping idols. But it seems that these amulets aren't idols. These amulets were probably tokens that
Right.
were modeled after an idol. It was like a good luck charm almost. And most likely they were made of precious metal. Now, the law says that when you raid a city, you doom a city, that idols are destroyed. And also anything with an image that is in precious metal, you're supposed to burn, right? So that way you won't cause sin by bringing images into the camp of the Israelites. And so it's very possible that what these men did was they didn't take them because they were worshiping false gods, but rather they wanted the precious metals that these amulets were made of. And so they broke the law by not burning it. And so the sin there wouldn't be idolatry, but it would be a lesser sin of greed or avarice, right? So that's, I believe Aquinas comes up. He thinks that this is true, and it makes a lot of sense too. So it's not as grave of a sin as idolatry, but it nevertheless is a sin. And of course, since it would be what we would call venial sin, it could be forgiven, right,
Yep.
through suffrages and so on, and it's not damn worthy. But William, let's steelman the position. Let's say
Sure.
actually they were idolaters, right, and they committed mortal sin.
Right.
Okay, Catholics would still pray for them, and
Sure.
we'd still offer sacrifices for the soul. And the reason for that is, it's not mortal sin that damns you;
Yeah.
it's final impenitence that damns you,
That's
right?
correct. That's
That
correct.
is, if you're in a state of mortal sin, you're estranged from God, and you die unrepentant, then you're damn worthy. You're sent to hell, right? But you can repent and be forgiven of mortal sin. Now, remember, this is the old covenant, right?
Yes.
Before the sacraments. And whether somebody has perfect contrition, right, repents before they die, perhaps these soldiers could have repented on their deathbeds, right? They could be saved. They could be, they're not have final impenitence. They could have their sins forgiven. But of course, they would also have attachment to sin. So they need further sanctification. And that's why even Catholics today, if someone dies in mortal sin, out of love and charity, we still pray for them and we still offer masses for the dead, simply because we don't know what their final state of the soul is. They could have died on the last seconds of their life.
Yep.
They could have repented. They could have been restored back to God. We don't know. And so that's why it was a holy and wholesome thought to pray for the dead, that they may be loosed from their sins, because it's this presumption of charity, right? That perhaps they did repent of it. So even if it is the first commandment in idolatry, it still doesn't, according to Catholic theology, still isn't a defeater, right? it still fits perfectly within our theology.
Yeah, and then there's that the theological proof that Judas Maccabeus most certainly was of the opinion that they didn't die in mortal sin. So if
Yeah,
he
right.
was of the opinion, you're right, and so it's all about the fact that he believed they died in godliness. Let's just, for the sake of argument, let's say they died in mortal sin. It doesn't change the concept that prayer for the dead of those that die in godliness is a holy and wholesome thought, and that is evident in the text. But I don't think the text presents them as idolaters
No.
at all. Number one, we're told that they died in godliness. With that in mind, I think we need to look a little bit closer at the evidence. And I think if we do look a little bit closer at the evidence, I think we've got very clear evidence that they were not idolaters. Number one, let's uncover it a little bit.
Mhm.
The text emphasizes, in particular in verse 39, that they died in battle for the brethren and for their country, according to verse 39. So they're not apostates, and they were part of Judas's army. What was Judas's army doing? They were fighting, defending the faith of Israel against pagan oppression. I
Yep.
think that's the one thing people don't realize. Isn't that right, Gary?
That's right. Yep.
Against pagan oppression. It would be ludicrous to think that they were idolaters. The offense, I'm going to argue, was a superstitious one. I believe they were wearing amulets. I think they had a superstitious hope of protection. They were struck dead because they didn't fully trust in the Lord. They should have, and they did not. That was a big problem. Similar to how one might carry around a good luck charm or a talisman, they were carrying these around. So I'm going to say that this was indeed, without a doubt, it was sinful. But it was not formal idolatry. Because formal idolatry, people need to realize, what does that entail? It entails deliberate adoration of a false god, and you have no evidence that we're doing that. Rather, you have all the evidence to the contrary, that they were fighting for the true God. So the focus is on breaking the law. And Gary, correct me if I'm wrong, but we've got to draw a clear line between breaking the law and apostasy. Isn't that right?
That's right. Yes.
So the response from Judas shows that they had faith, they died in friendship with God, but they were still in need of purification. That is why he takes up a collection, prays for them. Now, if they had died as hardened idolaters, the prayer would have been useless. And very clearly, this would have been looked at as silly for the early Jews that believed this book to be canonical. Why on earth are you going to attempt to intercede for one cut off from God? No, indeed, the idea here is clear that he prayed. Judas, they're praised immediately. Judas is the inspired author praises him immediately for his piety and calls it a holy and pious thought. It's right there. A holy and pious thought, a godly thought. So you've got here a divine, what we would call in Catholic and Orthodox lingo, a divine commendation of his action. Because clearly Judas Maccabeus did not believe the men were beyond hope. No, he believed they'd had hope. He took thought in the resurrection, it says. It therefore is a holy and wholesome thought to pray for the dead. So to kind of summarize it, nobody's denying the soldiers sinned. Superstition and a violation of the law, that's sin. But you're going to be hard-pressed to show that they died as idolaters. They didn't die as idolaters or apostates. Their sin was not mortal. There's no evidence that they totally rejected God, because that is what mortal sin would be, totally rejecting God. But rather, his men died in godliness. And that is something very clearly Judas believes in. So the idea to be able to pray for their purification after death is a very, very Catholic and very Orthodox principle. Isn't that right, Gary?
That's right. In fact, William, let me throw out an objection if that's okay.
Yes,
or do you want?
I love it. Yes, please do. Yes.
Okay. Now, someone might say, well, this part where he says that it's a holy and wholesome thought to pray for the dead, that's not part of the narrative. This apparently was inserted in by some uninspired author, that was his interpretation of what happened, and it isn't part of the actual inspired text. How would you answer that?
Yeah, so I'd answer that by saying, well, That particular verse is in every ancient manuscript of Second Maccabees. And I'd say Second Maccabees survives in Greek. And the phrase appears in all known Greek witnesses. And I've heard that argument, so I've looked it up.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, are there textual variants? Sure. But there are no textual variants in this part here. There is no variant which would omit verse 46. And if it were a later Catholic edition, we would expect to find at least one early one. One early one, or give me one in even in the medieval era. I mean, goodness, this would have been jumped on early on. If there were variants, one of the enemies of the faith would have been jumped on it. But indeed, you've got the same text appearing in all of the early manuscripts. And then very clearly, you have translations made from the Greek as well. And it's present there, too. What would that then prove? It proves that it was part of the original Greek composition, not a later interpolation. So I think that argument arrives dead on arrival. What are your thoughts, Gary?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's just not a shred of evidence for that. And I don't know why people pull that out. In fact, it's funny. James Tay reminds me that during one of the chill streams, we were going through commentaries, Protestant commentaries. And I believe somebody, I don't remember who it was, but they actually asserted that this is a Christian interpolation that was added to the text, I believe. So it's like whenever something's distinctly Catholic in the Deuterocanon, it seems like there's always this charge of, well, this was added by Christians. This wasn't part of the text. Which, of course, it would be odd because, as William, as you know, Jews today pray for the dead. It's a Jewish custom that Christians share together. So it's nothing that's really odd or out of place.
Not at all. Not at all out of place at all. And another thing I'd add, you've got this particular text in the Ralph's Septuagint. It's present in the what I like calling the Rolls Royce, the great critical edition, the Göttingen. It is present there. So there is no, and as far as I'm aware, I would be shocked if anybody could prove otherwise. I am not aware of there being a footnote or a bracket indicating textual doubt in the RSV, NRSV, or ESV. No, right? I'm not aware of that.
Nope. I haven't seen any.
No, I've never ever seen that. So that particular charge, I know people try to come up with fancy arguments to attack the deuterocanonical text all the time. But if it's present in all the ancient manuscripts, if it is confirmed by multiple language traditions, quoted by the early fathers, and affirmed by critical editions, I mean, you're really working against a mountain of evidence. And really all you're working with are really assertions without any evidence at all. Isn't that right, Gary?
Exactly. And who's to say the narrator isn't inspired, right? I mean, 100%. You have the same thing in Gospel of John, you have it in Luke. And of course, we wouldn't say, well, no, if it isn't red letter, it's not inspired, right? So why would you do that with the Deuterocanon?
Yeah, I don't know why people do that. Yeah, it really is weird. Give a shout out to the goated moderator, Rosario, who says, Purgatory is purification only in the nominal sense, but not predicatively. Dr. Sijuati, probably. I love you, man. I love you. For people that may not know, you got to watch our shows and our streams talking about Dr. Sijuati. Rosario, thank you for your support. Thank you for sending that super chat here at Patristic Pillars. And what do we have? We have shout out to you, Zeke. How you doing, brother? Over there at the Apocrypha Apocalypse. Guys, we are streaming on 2 channels right now. We are on here at Patristic Pillars and here at Apocrypha Apocalypse. I want to remind you guys, if you are here at the Apocrypha Apocalypse and you have not subbed to Patristic Pillars, sub to it, man. You'll get to see my hideous bald head very often. If you're here in Patristic Pillars and you haven't subbed to the Apocrypha Apocalypse, you're missing out on a ton of great chill streams that Gary does. You got to do it. And we want you guys to be sub to both because, we're a team. We do a lot of shows together, and we don't want you to miss out on any content at all. So you guys are great. Thank you for your all support. We are here, guys, able to do what we do because of your support to ministry, and we truly mean it when we say thank you for your support. Super chats you've sent, memberships. We're able to do what we do because of you guys, and you guys are magnificent. Lino Molina says, since Protestants reject purgatory, How can they account for a Christian who dies in sin, since nothing sinful can enter heaven? No cleansing process. What are your thoughts on that, Gary? What would they say to that?
Yeah, there's several different ways they try to work around that, but
Yeah,
really all of them fail. For example, some would say it doesn't matter if they have sin because it's
yeah,
what matters is imputed righteousness. Others would say that sin is not accounted. Basically, you can sin actually, but it's never like put on your account.
yeah,
So when God sees you, you're pure. There's workarounds like that. But the problem is sanctification. That's really
yeah,
the big deal because Protestant theology generally believes in two kinds of sanctification made holy,
yep,
positional and actual. Positional gets you into heaven, but actual can fluctuate depending on your actions, right?
hmm, yep,
So when you're in heaven, you'll be positionally sanctified, but what about the actual sanctification?
yeah,
And that's the problem. That's where you do need something to happen somewhere between your death and your entry into glory where your actual sanctification is perfected, right?
yep,
And people might have different ways of explaining it. Maybe it's you have crowns, right? You have maybe God will reveal your life and you'll feel bad, or I've heard all sorts of different formulations. But everybody has some view of purgatory. I'm convinced.
yeah,
C.S. Lewis called it biblical sanity, right? It's just a
yeah.
logical inference from Scripture. So uh, that's my explanation.
No, I completely agree with you. Very, very clear. To me, it seems so clear. And indeed, of course, you see that people have all kinds of ways around it. I don't think any of the ways around it really work at all. I don't think they
Yeah,
work well at all. Yeah,
no,
I don't. Yeah. Lino Molina, thank you for your support, brother. What do we have? James, there were 204 when I last. Pray for Sam. His blog has been taken down. I heard about that. I did. I heard. I reached out to Sam and I suggested a particular replacement blog. I don't know if he took up the offer. I messaged him and I don't know. I have not heard back from him. So I don't know. The guy's likely busy. So I don't know. Hopefully he did consider it. I did reach out to him and I suggested a new blog. And yeah, just definitely very upsetting though they took his blog down. Especially because there were a lot of articles, a lot of stuff that Gary had sent him, that I had sent him, the stuff that was just hosted there, a lot of stuff we put together. A big time bummer. It was just a big
yeah.
time bummer. Yeah, I lament that at all. I lament that big time.
It's like
AB, yeah,
it's
go
like
ahead, brother.
burning of the library in Alexandria, right?
Yeah, man,
I
there was
mean, it
so
was a
much good
lot of
stuff.
stuff.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was so much good stuff there. Wasn't it? He had a lot of great stuff, didn't he, Gary?
Oh, yeah.
Especially stuff against Islam and the early father stuff he had.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. But
Yeah,
hopefully you'll retrieve it and reconstitute it. But yeah, that's a
yeah,
shame.
yeah. Just bothersome. AB super chat over at Patristic Pillars, my man. Thank you for your support. You rock, brother. His question is good. If Christ died for our sins, why do we even need purgatory? He's done it all, man. He's done it all. Let me tackle that, and I'll let you
Okay.
follow up. Nobody denies that Christ, he is the expiation for our sins. Nobody denies Hebrews 10:14 that by one offering he has perfected forever those who are sanctified. We all affirm that. But the one thing we've got to realize is that we also affirm that nothing can be added to what we call the infinite value of the cross. Nothing. We know that. However, the Bible's very clear. Even after sin is forgiven, temporal consequences remain. And those require purification. The Bible's very clear. David's sin is evidence of that. 2 Samuel 12. Does God forgive him? Of course. The Lord has put away your sin, yet he suffers. The child dies. The child born ends up dying. He suffers temporal punishment there. And another example that I don't hear get brought up very often, and I want to point to it, is the idea of Moses. That's an example. I don't know why it doesn't get brought up enough, Gary. But in Deuteronomy 34, Moses is a friend of God.
Hmm.
But at the end, he's not allowed to enter the promised land because of that past act of disobedience. Now, sins have consequences. And I'm telling you right now, the Bible is very clear. If you think that they don't have consequences, I really don't know what to tell you. You gotta read your Bible a little clearer. They have consequences. And another one is 1 Corinthians 3. I mean, the classical locus classicus purgatorial text, right there, St. Paul is describing how even saved believers are saved through fire, a cleansing, not a condemnation. So if he died for our sins, why do we need purgatory? Well, we need to point to one thing. Every grace in purgatory comes from Christ's cross. I don't think people realize that. Purgatory is not adding to his work. It is applying to the soul the perfect work of Christ. And that is the important thing, that indeed sin wounds us. And what purgatory does, it removes the temporal effects and the impurities, because very clearly, Revelation 21:27, and I know I'm going to repeat it over and over, it tells you nothing unclean can enter heaven. So if you die in God's grace, but you're not yet perfectly purified, meaning you still have attachment to sin or with temporal debt, you will be purified in the afterlife. And I tell you one thing, that is very much a part of the good news as to why Christ died for our sins, because we do need his cleansing. What are your thoughts on that, Gary?
Yeah. No, I totally agree. I mean, the only thing I would add is the process of sanctification here on earth comes from Christ, and we cooperate with Christ's grace. We become more holy, right?
Yep.
The same thing's true in purgatory. It's our sanctification in purgatory comes from Christ. The difference is, unlike here on earth, we don't cooperate. This is something Christ does to us. And that's why the souls in purgatory don't merit when they suffer in purgatory.
Yep.
So it's even more passive, right? It's even more, I think, like Protestant acceptable, because it's like we don't cooperate. It's just something done just out of love of Christ, applying the merits of the cross to our souls to sanctify us. And since Christ is the chief cause for sanctification here on earth, it's likewise the chief cause in purgatory. There's really no difference. And I know Protestants try to make it sound as if somehow purgatory is disconnected from Christ and his grace, which is absolutely false.
Very clearly. And we're told that the Lord disciplines those that he loves. I mean, that is talking about people that follow him. Right. I mean, right there, if he loves you, you're part of the faith. But why would he discipline? Well, he disciplines us for our good, that we may share his holiness. Well, God's discipline, I'm going to break it down for you, audience. That means temporal punishment. If you're going to be disciplined, that is temporal punishment. And that is paternal. It isn't punitive, because punitive would be the eternal sense. But rather, this is paternal, meaning it is not punitive, because what we deserve would be eternal punishment. But rather, we are getting paternal love, and that paternal love heals us and sanctifies us. That is the beauty of the good news. And I mean, it is very clear all throughout the Bible. Isn't that right, Gary?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, that's beautifully put. This, to think of this chastisement as something a loving father does for their child, for their betterment, right? Same thing with God.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, no doubt. Absolutely. Great point. And why would God chastise his children? So we can learn. I tell you one thing, man, we can learn. Yeah, but that really isn't it. There are many other examples where one of my favorite ones, and I love this one, Gary, and I know you've heard this one. This is an example of God loves us so much that discipline is proof of his love. And I wish people understood that, because discipline is a sign of divine adoption. Look at what we read in Proverbs 3. My son, do not despise the Lord's discipline, or be weary of his reproof. For the Lord reproves him whom he loves, as a father the son in whom he delights. This is quoted in Hebrews 12. By the way, people may not realize that is quoted in Hebrews 12.
Right.
Showing that chastisement purifies believers. It's quoted right there. And that's amazing. People need to realize what the Bible says about discipline. And I tell you one thing, I would rather be disciplined. I tell you that. I would rather be disciplined and read this. Those whom I love, I reprove and discipline. So be zealous and repent. I'd rather hear that than hear, depart from me, because one is accursed. I would rather hear that. Jesus here, by the way, audience, is one of my favorite, Revelation 3:19. Our Lord is telling the believers in the church of Laodicea, I think the church of Laodicea, right? I believe church of Laodicea, that his rebukes and his punishments, they flow from his love. But the goal all the time is repentance and holiness. And that really is the very beating heart of the gospel, isn't it, Gary?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, were you thinking of Hebrews 12:5? My son did
Man,
not disdain but
there you
discipline.
go. Yeah, you got it. You
Yeah.
got it.
Yeah, or lose heart when reproved by him. For whom the Lord loves, he
There we
disciplines,
go.
he scourges every son he acknowledges. So
There you go.
if you're not being disciplined, that's a bad sign, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That shows you're not a son.
There you go, Dominique. That means you're in trouble. You're in
Yep.
trouble if you're not. Yeah. No, I'm with you there 100%. Lino Molina says, and we'll keep taking your guys' chats because we don't have anybody back here. We get it. It might be late. It's all right, guys. 14 minutes, guys, in the moment you all have been waiting for. We're going to dive into your favorite and our favorite horror movies. Guys, I cannot wait. We have a lot of fun coming up. But Lino Molina says, I want to pick you guys' brains. If somebody dies in mortal sin, if someone is in a state of mortal sin, forgive me, and he prays for those in purgatory constantly, privately repents, dies, is that person going to hell? What are your thoughts on that? I could take a stab at
Privately
it.
repents. Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
I think that he means that he doesn't get to confession. That's what I think Lino Molina says. That's what I'm imagining.
Okay.
With that in mind, if he doesn't have the ability or the time to repent, to get to confession before his death, it's very possible that every act of charity he has done will definitely be repaid to him in the afterlife, meaning he may need purification in the afterlife. But if he was in a state of mortal sin and he prayed for those in purgatory constantly, he repented before going to confession, and he died, well, then clearly he's dying in the friendship of God because he has tried to reach out to the Lord, even though he didn't, get to confession. It seems to me like he is doing his very best to walk with the Lord. The very fact that he is praying for those in purgatory means that he is doing acts of charity. When we pray for one another, those are acts of charity, guys. Those are acts of charity. So I would say by the very fact that he's praying for the dead, repenting, I would say that he is no longer in a state of mortal sin because of the very fact that he's doing that and he's trying to walk with the Lord. Now, the normative process would be to get to confession, and of course, we recommend everybody do get to confession. But it's, from all sounds of it, it doesn't sound to me like this hypothetical person is in mortal sin. What are your thoughts, Gary?
Yeah, I think the operative thing is, does he repent? And it says he repents. So if he has a perfect act of contrition, pure sorrow for love of God for his sins, then yes, then he can be saved and therefore not go to hell.
Yeah.
Regardless of whether he prayed for people in purgatory while he was in a state of mortal sin.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. That's a great point. And as you point out, the operative word, repent.
Yep.
Did he repent? That is the key thing. And that is the most important thing. That is why it is so important to walk with the Lord, to turn to the Lord, and to get to confession and get to Holy Mass as much as you can. There's no doubt. And we agree with you, Ari. We agree. Gary's a legend. Thank you for the support. Tell William to hush because I'm only here. All right. Let me know. Make sure to post on my channel so I can block you. That'll help you out, Ari. And now you are in line. You are 545th in line to become moderator. You hate her, Ari. I'm joking, guys. I love Ari. Ari knows that I'm always teasing her. She knows I'm always teasing her. Ari is great, guys. I wish I would have been able to stick around longer earlier. Ari, Ari had my friend, my dear brother, Edgar Lujano, over there on her channel earlier. The guy's great. He's phenomenal. Too bad I wasn't able to finish that. Ari, you rock hard. We love you. I'm not going to say that. I'm not saying this is the Gary Chandler show. I'm not saying that. But I am going to thank you for your support, brother. And I'm going to thank the man, the myth, the legend, our brother. And people may know him from the username CCDV. I don't know why user YouTube names change, but I want to give a shout out to you, brother. Thank you for your support. And I want to call out who got memberships. To DeBornot, Carolyn Beggins, Spoopy Vlad, Roger Bartley, and SB Blando. My man, CCDV, love him dearly. God bless you, brother. You are phenomenal. Thank you for your support, my friend. Yeah, you're right. Even in death, people don't want to take accountability. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to say one thing that is very clear from 1 Corinthians 3 is that you're going to be forced to. If you're going to be saved and purified, you are being loosed from those worldly attachments, meaning your attachments to things that may not be so good for you, even though we all know that Diet Coke is the nectar of the gods, and it is good for you. But an example would be, let's pretend Diet Coke isn't good for you, which it is good for you. Then in the afterlife, you're getting detachment from all the worldly things that weren't good for you. That is why 1 Corinthians 3 says, he will suffer loss, zemiothesetai, but he will be saved, sothesetai. How will he be saved, Gary? By going through purifying fire. And we're talking about Judgment Day. That is in the afterlife. It doesn't get any more purgatorial than that, does it, Gary? It's very clear.
No, not at all. And yeah, that's really, I mean, that's, William, you've done so much good work on that whole stream of, purgatorial fire, purifying fire.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, great stuff. So guys, check it out on Patristic Pillars. William has like a whole library full of some really good exposition on that.
I want to give a very quick shout out as well. Earlier today, I had our near and dear friend, Dr. Hahn, on my show. Man, was that a lot of fun. Dr. Hahn is great. And during the show, I had to tell our friend, Dr. Hahn, I said, Scott, I'm going to have to put in shameless plug. I recorded a whole course in Purgatory for the St. Paul Center. But that isn't the only thing I plugged in. If Gary maybe he didn't watch the show, but I also plugged in what he's done for the St. Paul Center earlier today. I mentioned Gary as well when I had our friend Dr. Hahn on. So audience, in case you don't know, not only have I recorded for the St. Paul Center on Purgatory, I did a whole course, but Gary has done a course as well. And so I tell you guys, earlier Dr. Hahn was talking about it, and Gary's done a course there too, haven't you, Gary?
Yep, on reliability gospels. Yep.
That's correct. Yeah. And there's not a whole lot of stuff out there on the reliability of the gospel. So audience, definitely we recommend you check that out. My goodness. If I had, by the way, audience, we have people backstage already. So we'll start bringing you up. We'll start bringing you up very soon. But if I had a nickel for every time I've heard this one, well, then I'd have a lot of nickels and a lot of dollars and a lot of money. If I had a nickel for every time I heard that one, I'd have a lot of nickels. Oh. I'd have a lot of dollars. I'd have a lot of money. I want to give a shout out to the master himself, Joey. God bless you, brother. A common Protestant thing to quote is, to be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord. Yeah, Gary, how do we answer that? To be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord. Doesn't that disprove purgatory?
No, in fact, I never understood this objection, William. So maybe you should take it, because I just don't see how this objection actually works to disprove purgatory.
Well, let's unpack it. And I'm glad you brought it up. I want to give Joey a humongous shout out. And Joey, I also want to tell you, thank you for your support, brother. You guys are phenomenal. And I know I repeat it so often, but Gary knows very well, we are able to do what we do here because of you guys' support, including getting critical editions, writing work, doing videos. You guys are phenomenal. Thank you so much for your support, Joey. We're confident, I say, St. Paul says, and willing rather to be absent from the body and to be present with the Lord. Now, what do evangelicals say? Well, our evangelical friends are going to say, look, Paul says being absent from the body means being present with the Lord. There can be no purification in the afterlife. The soul immediately enters heaven at death. there are a number of ways that we've got to tackle this. Number one is the most important one. St. Paul is expressing a desire. He's not defining an order of events. That's number one. The Greek grammar shows a desire. And we all have that desire. All of us do. He's very clear. We are of good courage and would rather to be absent from the body and be home with the Lord. He has a longing to be united with Jesus. We all have that longing. All of us do. He's not making a doctrinal statement saying, okay, as soon as we're absent from the body, we're with the Lord. No. In fact, I want you all to compare that, and I've heard this argument so many times that you need to compare that to what is said right here. This is another one. Look at what he says in Philippians 1:23. Compare that. I desire to depart and be with Christ, for that is far better. Again, that is hope. That doesn't exclude any purification process at all. That is hope.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you one thing. You know what St. Paul also says? You got to finish that race. 1 Corinthians 9:27. Or you can be adokimos, reprobate. You've got to finish that race. So he has that hope. That is the hope we all have. Nowhere does absent from the body mean that there is no purgatorial purification. I simply don't understand how you can extrapolate that from that text, Gary.
Yeah, same here. I just never understood it, so I never felt like I had a good rebuttal to it, right? Because, like you said, it's a wish, and he's not giving a chronology.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
At all. It's not a chronology at all, is it?
No, not at all. I mean, we have the same, like you said, we have the same hope, and we believe in purgatory, right?
Yep.
I mean, how does that exclude it?
No, it doesn't at all. And to be very clear, this doesn't make sense. It doesn't. And I now I can tell why you'd heard of it, but you didn't really think of a rebuttal, because it doesn't make any sense at all. You know, it is a statement of hope. It is not a chronology. So it says what Paul desires, not what automatically happens. And I got to say, it harmonizes perfectly with the Catholic doctrine of purgatory. Because before seeing God face to face, you got to be purified in his love, and that's purgatory. Purgatory is not hell, and purgatory is not a second chance. If you died outside of the friendship of God, you don't have another chance. That's it. Right. That's it.
Yep.
We got Ari back here. Let's bring Ari up. Ari.
All right.
What's up, Ari? Is that you?
Yes, it's me, your favorite person.
Oh, my definitely my favorite person. Yeah.
No, not your favorite. I'm talking about Gary's favorite.
Whoa.
I'm only here for Gary, as you could tell.
What a hater. What are you up to, Ari?
Yeah. Not much. Just got done with Edgar not too long ago, so that was fun.
Edgar's great.
He is. He's amazing. I love what he's doing for the Spanish community. I really do. So I am actually here.
Hold on, wait a minute. Edgar has he's hosted Catholic Answers in Spanish, right?
Yes. Yeah,
oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Isn't there a debate over there on that Spanish Catholic Answers?
I don't know. I don't watch anything with the title William, on it. So.
I almost had you in my trap there. I love it, man. I love Ari. It fills my bones with joy and love when I get haters. I love you, Ari. I love you so much. But I'm glad you enjoyed that debate. Don't worry. I'll do some more debates in Spanish just for you, and I'll win them just for you, Ari. Don't worry. I'll win them just for you.
I mean, yeah.
We love you, Ari. What's up?
So I was wanting to see, like, what would be your strongest purgatory? What would be like?
You completely broke up there for me. Did you hear that, Gary?
No, I didn't.
Well, you broke up completely there.
Okay, can you hear me?
No, you're completely robotic. We can really not hear anything.
Oh shoot! Really? Oh damn. Okay.
There you go. We can hear you there.
Okay. What is the strongest Bible verse that you can use for purgatory to prove that purgatory is real?
Well, my favorite one, I've got two. I think the second Maccabees is great.
Yeah.
That I think it's rock solid. We went through that tonight. And then the other one I'd like to go to would be 1 Corinthians 3. As we discussed 1 Corinthians 3, it just really, there's just no doubt there. We're talking about the afterlife, and in the afterlife, there's very clearly purification that is occurring. That purification, the person is saved, yet he needs to be purified before entering into the glory of heaven. That purification includes, a loss of worldly attachment. I think this is the best one. 1 Corinthians 3, this one and 2 Maccabees. We're literally told that each one's work will become clear, for the day will declare it. Well, what is the day? Well, the day is Judgment Day, because it will be revealed by fire, and the fire will test each one's work of what sort it is. So on Judgment Day, you're going to be judged, and your work will be tested, meaning how have you lived your life? How have you walked with the Lord? You will be tested. And we're then told, if anyone's work which he has built on it endures, he will receive a reward. If anyone's work is burned, he will suffer loss, but he himself will be saved, yet so as through fire. So how is the man saved? Through fire. And the Greek is diaporos, as I've done debate after debate, and I've written a lot on it. Anytime diaporos, through fire, the Greek, is used in conjunction with precious metals, it is always a purification. And our works, how we've lived our lives, are represented with precious metals: gold, silver, precious stones, wood, hay, and straw. You got combustible elements, and then you've got elements that can be purified through fire. So this is very purgatorial. The early fathers saw it as well. So my personal two favorite, by the way, I think there are more, but my two favorites, and I can't even tell you in what order. I don't have number one and the number two. I have them both equal. But my two favorites are 2 Maccabees 12 and 1 Corinthians 3. Gary, do you have any other favorites? Or are those your top two? What are your favorites?
Yeah, those are my top two: 2 Maccabees, 1 Corinthians 3, and then maybe a third would be that nothing unclean shall enter heaven in Revelation. I think it's 22.
21.
21. And
Yeah.
the inference you can make from that, those are my 1, 2, 3s, I think.
Yeah, those are great. I mean, the fact that we are able to really, at the end of the day, what we're doing is we're picking our favorite ones. There are others. That shows you the rock solid evidence you have of purgatory. Yeah. It's been believed and taught from the very beginning. So I think that is, that in and of itself is great.
Yeah, and there's several others too. It's not just those, right? There's
there's
like the unmerciful servant, about no forgiveness in this life or the next. There's a lot of other classic texts too, but those are my favorites. So.
Oh yeah.
So we align there, but we don't align on the horror movies, which is kind of scary.
Yeah, that's going to be great. So let's look at we'll go look at 2 or 3 super chats. Then we're going to go into the horror movie hour now, guys. You guys have been waiting for it. Man, I am not excited. I'm thrilled and pumped. In fact, I'm pulling up the list right now, and I'm going to go in order. It's going to be a lot of fun. In fact, I'm going to begin at number 10. We're going to build up to number 1. You guys are you're in for a blast. And I know Gary's list. He doesn't know mine yet. But I want to give a shout out to the phenomenal Cathal Ryan. Thank you for your support, brother. God bless you. You are incredible, my friend. Goated moderator and member, as I like to say, as Sam cringes when I say it, but I mean it, man. Cathal Ryan says it's Halloween and purgatory is a topic. Have you heard of Blessed Maria Bolognesi? I don't want to butcher that. I might have. A mystic who suffered various demonic possessions and attacks, had the stigmata. Padre Pio would bilocate her, and the souls of purgatory would visit her at night. Yes, I have heard of her. I have indeed, because when I was doing my work on Padre Pio, as you know very well, Cathal, I did a whole series on the stigmata, and man, I read a bunch of books, and I don't regret it at all. I read a bunch of them inspired by Cathal. Cathal himself inspired me to do research. I did a whole course. Guys, if you are not yet members, or you haven't yet become a member, check us out. There's a whole course I did on the stigmata. I heard about her from when I did that. Now, in terms of knowing a lot about her, what I can tell you, the audience, is I know that she had the visible stigmata. Now, why do I say the visible stigmata? Because as people that have seen that series know, there were varying forms of stigmata throughout history. The ones that she had were the visible one, the wounds of Christ. And yes, she did have incredible sufferings. She even had, from what I remember reading, and I read a good amount about it, were especially on Fridays, days of penance, she had incredible sufferings, which were indicative of sufferings of the passion. And she did endure, great torments. She really, really did. But the amazing thing about her, Cathal, and I don't know if Cathal's done research, he probably does know about her, is every time she suffered, in every way she was suffering, she always offered it up, always offered her suffering up for not only the suffering souls of purgatory. This is the beauty of her. She offered it up for the suffering souls in purgatory. She offered it up for the holiness of priests. She was very concerned. She says, we need good priests. We love good priests. I'm going to offer up my suffering for the sanctification of priests. Very, very good causes. And yeah, she's a great example. Now, as far as her dates go, you're going to catch me off guard there. I know it was early. I don't know, maybe the 1920s, 1930s. I know limited amount. I know that much about her. Now, you brought up, Cathal, my friend, said here that souls of purgatory would visit her. That I don't know about. I believe you. The reason I don't know about that is because my research delved into the stigmata marks that she had. As far as suffering souls, I never knew that. That's incredible. Cathal, do you know of any of the messages they shared with her? And Gary, as we wait for Cathal's response, have you heard of her?
No, I've never heard of her before, so this is all new to me.
Okay, so it's brand new to you then.
Yeah, no, never heard of.
Yeah, I wonder.
Sounds pretty cool, though.
Oh yeah, no, it sounds great. It sounds phenomenal, without a doubt. Gonan, how you doing, brother? I have an Estionquin. A what? I don't know. A full reference is a second chat. Have you heard of that argument?
A question? No.
Okay.
The question in the chat, maybe?
Gonan, I have no idea what you're trying to say, brother. I'm looking in the chat. I'm trying to follow. Okay, he's got a question, but where is the question, brother? I'm sorry, guys. I did not know. But Gaunan, forgive me. I can tell you one thing. I imagine you sent that super chat, which, by the way, let me tell you one thing. Thank you for the support. But I know that happens to me too when I'm trying to send something, sometimes autocorrect. But what was your question, my friend? What was your question? Okay, in the WhatsApp group, you mean? All right, we'll check it out afterwards. And I got to add Gary to that group one day, although you guys won't give Gary any sleep if I add him to our WhatsApp. Yeah, you get like about 500 messages a day, man. Okay. Gary's going to hunt down all of you guys if I ever add him to that group. All right, Gaunan, hit me up later. Remind me. I did not know what you were talking about. Destin, over there at the Apocrypha Apocalypse, thank you for your support, says, stats indicate that teen and young adults S rates have generally increased the past 2 decades. What is the church's position in this issue? And can surviving families have hope that their dearly departed are in purgatory? There is always hope. There is always hope. The reason being is because the church orders us to always have a positive outlook and to always pray for the dead. And that's important first and foremost. What are your thoughts on that, Gary?
Yes, absolutely. Although suicide's a grave sin, remember mortal sin, there's 3 conditions. You need grave matter, which this would be grave matter. You have to have knowledge that it's wrong, and also it has to be a intentional act, right?
Yeah.
And the thing is, with suicide victims, many times they're not in the right mind, or perhaps they repent, but they can't undo the process and they die anyway. So it's not their intent to die.
Yep.
There's, one of my favorite passages is in Romans 14. It says, before your own master, he stands or falls. So basically, we don't know the state of where people are at the moment of their death. And so the church, although, the church is very firm against suicide, nevertheless recognizes that people could be, not in the right mind and maybe have limited culpability. So it might not be a mortal sin, but venial, or perhaps they repent. We don't know. So like you said, we're always encouraged to pray for the dead, and we have hope, right? Because God's merciful.
Yeah. I think that is the important thing to really emphasize there, that God is all merciful. And when we hear about people that have committed, our response is always got to be compassion, not judgment, compassion. We leave that up to the grand judge, the Lord. Nobody knows their heart but the Lord. Another thing is to not despair, Destin, but pray. Another thing is to not condemn. We are nobody to condemn, but to trust in divine mercy. That is key. We've got to trust in divine mercy. That is very, very key. And I want to give a shout out to AB. He says, Gary, love your content. We all love Gary's content, AB. We all do. AB, thank you for your super chat. Thank you for your support over there at the Apocalypse. Guys, the moment you've been waiting for. The moment I've been waiting for. And I'm here as a little bit of a cheater. Because Gary, I know Gary's list, and he doesn't know mine. I know his list.
Yeah, I'm dying over here. I'm dying.
Yeah. So I'm going to make him wait a little bit more, guys, a little bit more, because I'm going to begin. We're going to go from 10, and then we're going to build up, and we're going to go all the way to number 1, guys. And boy, is it going to be fun. But yeah, we're going to make you guys wait. In fact, we're going to do that little bit of drum roll, a little drum roll for you guys, a little drum roll. We got Gary's number 10. And audience, we want to hear from you. What are your favorite ones as well? We want to hear from you. Guys, line up backstage if you want. We'll bring you up later on. Just be patient. We'll bring you up probably when we get to around number 5 or number 4. Be patient, and we'll look in the chat to see which ones are your favorite. Number 10 for Gary is one that I have not seen. It's the only one in his list I haven't seen. The only one. No, it's not. That's not the one. That's not the one. That's not the one. Hold on.
Haunting in Saginaw?
It's Haunting in Saginaw. That's a number 10. And I don't know why it's saved. Hold on. I got it. I got that one. Let me put it. I dropped the ball there, guys. Sam would be laughing if he was here right now. Thank the good Lord he's not here, man. Keep him locked away, guys. Don't invoke him. Don't even say that name. Keep him locked very far away. Here we go, guys. Here we go. Haunted in Saginaw is the one I meant to put up. There it is. Haunted in Saginaw, Michigan. I've never seen that one. When did that one come out? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
It was late at night, and I was going through documentaries on Roku, and I saw this, and I think it was this one. I hope I got it, because they did a whole string of it. And there's this haunted house here in Michigan that was cursed. And so they do a paranormal investigation, and they find all sorts of really weird things. And for me, it was like, by the end of the program, it was really gripping and a bit shaking. So, of course, is it true or not? Who knows? But I thought it was pretty good. And it was one of those paranormal investigation type horror movies.
My goodness, never seen it. That I've got to watch that one. That has got to. You know what? You gave me one that I haven't seen that I want to watch. So that is very good.
Cool.
My number 10.
You mean the other ones you don't want to watch?
No, I've seen all the other ones.
Oh, okay. Okay.
They're great. This is
You
the
just
only
don't
one
want
I
to see them
haven't.
again.
Oh no.
Okay.
I mean, a film that I haven't seen yet. The other ones are great. They're, in fact, once we get to them, you'll see how much I love them.
Cool.
Number 10 for me is one of my all-time favorites. And people may be wondering, why isn't it higher up on the list? Because you guys are going to see, I got some really goated movies there. Aliens with an S.
Really?
Part two. Part two is the goat of the alien films. I know Gary doesn't agree, but for me, it's the goat of them. Sigourney Weaver is an all-time warrioress, lioness mode. We've got an amazing, phenomenal cast. We've got a great storyline. We have action-packed, horror-packed. I love Alien 1, but Alien 1 just takes too long to get to the action. But I'll say this. Alien 1 is a real, true horror one. This one would be more action horror. So, yeah, but I'm going to put number 10. I'm going to put Aliens. I love Aliens. Gary, what are your thoughts on Aliens?
William, I was debating one or two. Honestly.
Okay, good.
Because you're right. And, Alien series, they held up pretty good through the sequels.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought the second one was just as good as the first, maybe a little better.
Yes.
But for me, I think Alien, because it was the first one and it was seemed like the first one of that genre.
Oh, yeah.
I remember seeing it in the movie theater, and it was pretty pretty intense.
It was quite intense, man.
Yeah.
I still watch it every year. Alien 3, unfortunately, no. Yeah.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we have a bit of a drop off after Alien 2. After Aliens, although the latest one I thought was awesome. I don't know if you got to watch that one.
Yeah. Is that the prequel?
Yes, I liked it.
Okay.
I thought it was pretty good.
I only saw bits and pieces of it. So,
Okay.
yeah.
I mean, compared to 3 and 4 and the others, it's a step in the right direction. It's not part 1 or part 2, but it's a step in the right direction, I'd say.
Right.
All right, guys, we got another drum roll. Another one. We got number 9 now, guys. Number 9.
Complete with animation. This is awesome.
Complete with animation, guys. We got number 9 now. And number 9 is number 9 for Gary. This is Gary's number 9. Do I like it? I love it. It is not in my top 10, which is good because our lists don't overlap, but it's a great film. It is the original Nosferatu.
Yep.
It is the original Nosferatu.
I think it's 1922.
Yes.
This thing is creepy, and it's a silent movie.
Yes.
And in fact, they just restored it with some lost footage.
Did they really? I didn't know that.
Now, there's like a genre of old German movies that are really creepy. It's just something inhuman about them.
Yeah.
And this kind of has that same weird, creepy vibe about it. So that's why I put it on here.
Yeah, and you can find a really good collection of old German horror movies on Amazon. I know I've got the collection on DVD. I don't know if they have it on Blu-ray. I don't know if it's been available on Blu-ray, but the really good German film for being a silent film. Very well done. Isn't that right, Gary?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, way ahead of its time in that. And like I said,
way ahead.
It's like human adjacent. It's like human yet inhuman at the same time. And it's so close, and that's what those German horror flicks do. It's like it's natural, but it's something weird or warped about it. And and that like adds an extra chill, I think, when watching it.
I'm with you 100%. Well, that's your number 9.
Metropolis is a great example of that too. It does have like a real weird vibe to it.
Oh, there's no doubt.
It's a great movie.
I mean, it was hard. I had to take a lot of really good ones out of my top 10, but I had to keep it to a top 10. And number 9 for me is a vampire film. Funny enough, both of our number 9s were vampire films. My number 9, a little bit more on the, maybe people are going to argue, a little bit more on the comedy horror edge, but I'd argue more horror than comedy. I'd argue more horror than comedy. And I would argue one of the greatest horror films of the 80s, and indeed one of the greatest vampire films ever made. I'm going to argue Fright Night is my number 9.
Fright Night. I don't think I've. Oh, wait. I know. That's the parody one, right? Where they parody horror movies? Is that correct or no? I think I'm
not exactly parodying. I guess maybe you might look at it like that because the character Peter Vincent is a take off of Peter Cushing mixed with Vincent Price, kind of like a ripoff of the old Peter Cushing vampire films. But it really isn't a parody, though.
Okay.
It really isn't a parody.
Okay. But I didn't see it.
You haven't seen that one. You got to watch it. You know what, Gary? I bet you've seen it. You probably might not remember.
Okay. Yeah, maybe. It doesn't ring a bell. But can you give a little bit of the plot?
Definitely. So you've got a young kid, teenager, who is living in his neighborhood, a nice and quiet neighborhood, and next door a vampire moves in. But it isn't cheesy the way you think. It's very well done. A great cast, and indeed, I'd be shocked if it isn't considered one of the greatest horror movies ever made on many lists. So vampire moves in next door, and one night he wakes up in the middle of the night. He's watching some films he shouldn't be watching. Films that got put on Skinamax and HBO way back in the day. And he's watching those films, and he's watching, and then he pulls out some binoculars to look next door, and he sees the neighbor pretty much taking a body out of the house. Finds out he's a vampire, and then he goes and he tries to seek the help of the local actor by the name of Peter Vincent. Peter Vincent was famous for appearing in vampire movies. But Peter Vincent really isn't a brave vampire hunter. The guy's really a fraud. all he really does is do horror movies. When he finds out that he has a real vampire next door, Peter Vincent is, pretty terrified. Doesn't want to help him. But of course, later on, he definitely, as you can probably predict, becomes a hero. We won't spoil it for people that may not have seen it yet. I definitely recommend it. One of the very best films.
Sounds good. Yeah, sounds really good.
Great one. I would not put Bram Stoker's Dracula. I wouldn't even put it in my top 50. It's good though. Yeah, it's good though. It's
Yeah,
good
I wouldn't
film,
either.
Yeah, no, I definitely wouldn't. Too erotic for a horror film for me. I don't like my films like that. I don't like my films dirty. I never have. So here we go. We go to number 8 now.
Drum roll.
There you go. Drum roll. Number 8. This is a good one. Gary's number 8. This is a good one, and I lamented that I didn't include this one on my list, but it didn't have room there. But everybody's going to know this one. This is a very, very good one. It is Psycho.
Yes, classic.
Alfred Hitchcock's. It's a classic, a big time classic.
Yes, and I love it because it's horror and suspense rolled up in one.
Oh yeah.
And it's creepy and terrifying. And Alfred Hitchcock, it's, if you love Alfred Hitchcock movies, he's really good with. He knows how to build suspense and things like that. And of course, you got the classic shower scene, which,
my goodness, doesn't Anthony Perkins knock it out of the park?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was perfect casting, and the funny thing is that they did this big publicity stunt too. That they would have I think they have medic people at the theaters, and they had warnings about that you'd be too scared, and but that's kind of that broke some barriers, new adventure into horror movies, and it's a classic. It's got to be up there on the top 10.
It has got to be. It really, really is a very, very good film. I love it. Very well, very well acted. You don't see a lot of them. Look, guys, for people that may be wondering, I love horror movies, guys. I love horror movies. Whenever I find the time, guys, when I find the time, it's a horror movie I'm going to watch. And there's not many that reach the level of the original Psycho.
Yeah. Now, the problem with Psycho is it's been ripped off so much that if you watch it for the first time now, it's not going to have the same impact, right?
Not at all. Not at all. People are going to know.
Back in the day, it was cutting edge.
Oh, yeah. Big time cutting edge back in the day. All right, then. Now we come to my number 8. And I wonder if people can guess what my number 8 is. My number 8 would probably be number 1 in my list. And indeed, it's one of the greatest films that I've ever seen. I love it. One of the goated horror films ever made. It is a remake, believe it or not, of an original one. I don't remember if the original one was in the 50s. I don't remember when, but I'm going with a remake with the goated Kurt Russell. I wonder if anybody knows which one I'm talking about. I'm talking about this one right here. The Thing. The Thing. That's what I'm talking about. I think it's the greatest iteration of The Thing ever done, the 1982. It is a remake. It is not the original one, but I think it surpasses the original one in every way. Kurt Russell knocks it out of the park. Every actor knocks it out of the park. The effects are second to none. One of the greatest horror films ever made. It could easily be number 1 in many lists. Kurt Russell does a magnificent job. If you're a guy, you're going to love The Thing because of the action of the horror. That's real muscle. That's real muscle horror there. I love it. What are your thoughts on that one, Gary?
I didn't see it. I think I saw the original, though. And it was kind of corny. Good. So that's why I didn't see this one. So now I got to put it on my to-do list and watch it.
But there's nothing wrong with that because Mick Vine just revealed, too, that he just saw it recently. I love it. I really. But you know what, Gary? Let me tell you one thing. Why am I even acting shocked? Let me tell you one thing. First time I saw the Thing was about 4 or 5 years ago. So I didn't see it back in the 80s. I didn't see it back then. I got to barely see it about a few years back, and I fell in love with it. I've seen it maybe 10 times. I have it on Blu-ray. I have a very rare edition. By rare edition, I mean it's autographed by Kurt Russell. A great film. I love it. I love it. John Carpenter, the guy's great. Yeah. You're going to find out that John Carpenter comes up on my list more than once. People can figure that out.
Cool.
I don't want to say it at the moment, though. We got another drum roll.
All right.
Got another drum roll.
On my watch list for sure.
Yeah, definitely. You're gonna really like it. So, We now move to number 7, and Gary put a comment in number 7, and I agree with the comment.
Yeah.
Lamentably,
Yeah.
because and we'll talk about that when we pull it up here. Number 7, without a doubt, in my opinion, had the second half not been the second half, might have even made the top 3 of the greatest horror films ever made. It was trending towards being one of the greatest ever made. It's Event Horizon.
Yeah.
It's Event Horizon.
It's such a disappointment, but the first half of the movie is spectacular. The second half makes you nauseous, and it's just terrible. So it's like I was thinking, does it deserve to even be in the top 10? But it's like, it seems so realistic at the beginning, and they summed up the plot so well, and then you have this creepy isolation feeling.
It's jarring. The first half is jarring.
Yeah. And then it kind of gets into almost like a haunted house, but on a spaceship.
Yes.
And then it just goes to, it's terrible. So
it's terrible.
Yeah.
And apparently, I believe the director or somebody in charge came out. I think they came out like about half a year ago, Gary, and they said the reason the second half was such a mess was because on the cutting floor, the film company butchered it.
Oh.
And in case you don't know, there is footage of the way the second half should have looked. Parts that were cut out that made it nonsensical. But had it been made the way the director wanted it to be made, it could have figured out to be one of the greatest. It looked brutal the second half. I got to see photos of the way it should have been, the stuff that got cut out, which is a big-time bummer.
Yeah. Yeah, and, it also kind of swerves into theology a little bit, too.
Sure does.
This interdimensional flight that they apparently ended up in hell. And
yes, right.
I don't want to spoil the movie. But it's like, man, this could have seriously been a great movie. And they dropped the ball. So maybe someday they'll rewrite it. And what we need is a good Catholic to rewrite it, and it'd be awesome.
It could be phenomenal. You got that right. And now we come to my number 7. And my number 7 is the first film in a series of a lot of films that eventually devolved into not so good movies. I thought part 1 was amazing. One of the greatest horror films ever. Part 2 was pretty good. Part 3 was Part 4 was Part 5 was Part 6 was oh no. and New Nightmare was good. People already know what I'm talking about. But Part 1 is one of the greatest, and Part 1 truly was unnerving. You gotta give it to Nightmare on Elm Street. Part 1.
Oh yeah.
You gotta give
that's a classic.
Part 1 was brutal. Part 1 was phenomenally written. Robert Englund did an amazing job in Part 1. Part 1 is a traumatizing film. Taken as a singular film the way it was meant to be taken. Later on, of course, Freddy Krueger becomes this, witty killer and with quip that quips all these lines, one-liners, becomes more of a caricature than anything else. Sadly. But Part 1, he was a brutal murderer, and the kill scenes are chilling in Part 1. I think Part 1 is one of the very best. What are your thoughts on Part 1?
Yeah, it's good. I'm not a huge fan of slasher movies. So,
right. Okay.
But if I was to pick one, this would be it. I think this is an excellent slasher movie. And you're right. As soon as the sequels start parroting themselves, which is kind of what happened, it really kind of it almost becomes like an inside joke, and it totally loses the whole horror aspect. So
it totally does. And that's a big time bummer.
Yeah.
That's a big time bummer. When that happens, it really is a big time bummer.
Yeah, but Freddy Krueger is a franchise, that's how good the first one was.
Oh yeah, that's how good the first one was. The first one was very, very good. Now the next one, I gotta say, I really like it, but I'll tell the audience right now why I was shocked that you picked this one for number 6. And I'll tell the audience right now, not that it wasn't good, it is a very good film. But I've got to pick your brain on this, so let me hold on.
Okay.
I just realized that StreamYard is telling me I can only upload so many images at once, so let me remove these and let me upload it. Okay, here we go.
I don't even remember what 6 is, so.
Oh, you're going to remember right here. Not that it's bad. In fact, I loved it, but I want to know why this one and why not the original one. Dawn of the Dead.
Dawn of the Dead. Yes.
I
Well,
love this one. I tell you right now, I love this one. And
yeah.
maybe before you answer me, maybe you can give the audience a little bit of a synopsis for people that may not know what is Dawn of the Dead about.
Well, it's a zombie movie, basically. It's just like all the Dawn of the Dead and all the other
Right.
ones. I like this one. Horror-wise, it's not as scary as some other ones. But the thing I really loved about Dawn of the Dead was it actually was pretty realistic in a way.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And without spoiling it, one of the places they end up to fortify themselves against the zombies is a mall. And I thought that was genius because you have food, you have equipment, you could last, security. And I love the characters. There was a guy across the street in a gun shop, and of course you could use guns. And I just thought, intellectually, it was like one of the best thought out zombie movies out there.
I agree.
And it's like, I think in that way, it's probably the most realistic, although, the zombies themselves and the effects aren't as good as modern stuff. But I think it's one of my favorite zombie movies.
And now I've got to ask, why the 2000 version? Why not the original one? I'm just curious.
Well, I have the original one.
Okay. Oh, you do?
But this is there's so many different iterations of it. Like I said, this one to me just made the most sense. The other ones, they always do something.
No. I think you misunderstood me. Why not I don't know if you're aware. There's a previous Dawn of the Dead. Do you know that?
Oh yes. And then there's Night of the Living Dead. I thought that was like the original.
Oh no. I meant the original Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah.
Have you seen that one?
I'm sure I did. I just don't remember it. I just I like this particular iteration of it.
Gotcha. No, I love this one. And hey, guys, very rare this ever happens that you've got the same writer and director for the original doing a remake of his sequel. He did this one as well, George Romero. Funny enough, I have my original copy of Night of the Living Dead and Dawn of the Dead. I got to meet George Romero in Austin, Texas, many years back. Met him. He autographed them both. The guy was one of the most down-to-earth people. He has now passed away since then. He was great, phenomenal. And as you guys can tell, I really love horror movies.
Cool.
And the next one on my list is a film that many people know about. And, I almost feel bad putting it at number 6, but it's great. Just the fact that it's in my top 10 says everything for me. And for my number 6. It's Halloween. Part 1. I love Halloween Part 1. Now, I know you're not big into slasher films, so I don't know how big a fan you would be of Halloween. Well, what are your thoughts? Do you like Halloween? Do you like any of them?
Yeah, I like it. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, the thing with slasher movies, there tends to be a certain form or format where you can kind of guess what's going to happen. But this might have been early enough. Nightmare on Elm Street and Halloween were probably early enough before it started becoming very formalized, right? Like today, if it's a slasher movie comes out, I could tell you exactly what's going to happen without even seeing it. So that's what ruins it for me. That and I'm not really into, violent slashing scenes. So
today, without a doubt, but I'd say my favorite are Part 1 and 2. I thought they were great. And if anybody's wondering, people saying, William, are you really even a Halloween fan? I don't know, guys. I don't know. Maybe I am. Maybe I'm not. I don't know. Maybe I am. Maybe I'm not. The popcorn bucket of Halloween 2, Michael Myers. I'd say I'm a little bit of a horror movie fan, a little bit of a Michael Myers fan. Part 1 and 2 were not predictable at all. Later ones, maybe a little bit. A little bit. But the original ones, definitely not. I'm an enormous fan of the Halloween series. Love it. So it hurts me putting it Part 6, but it's great. Definitely very, very good film. I loved it. Now we get into the top 5, guys. We're in the top 5, which, hey, I think all of the ones we've looked at so far are awesome. We're in the top 5 now. And your top 5, your number 5, I love it. By the way, guys, if you guys want to share what you guys, let's go through ours and we'll hear what you guys have to say. Then I want to see what you guys have to say. Your number 5 is right here. It is a bona fide bona fide classic. It's the great
Yes.
Night of the Living Dead. Wow.
Yeah, I love this.
Wow.
First, it's black and white. Horror movies are always better in black and white.
100%.
I didn't realize this until I started showing horror movies to my kids, and we'd have all the lights off. And
There you go.
what's weird is like you can't differentiate where the screen ends. So it's almost like they're in the same room as you.
Yep.
And of course, this is grainy black and white. You get the feeling of claustrophobia when they're in the house.
Yep.
You have unusual characters. The zombies are particularly creepy. This set off the whole genre of zombie movies, and this definitely creeped me out when I first saw it, and it was pretty scary. Yeah,
no doubt. And I got to tell you one thing. In my opinion, it still holds up well today.
Yeah,
very well.
Absolutely. Yeah, so it's a classic.
Well.
So I think we got all the classics, right? We got Nightmare on Elm Street. You have Halloween, Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, Aliens, we got some really good classics here.
We got some really good classics, and now guys are going to say, "What are you doing, William?" Because you're now bringing up a newer film. I am, and if you have not heard of it, it is in my top 5. In fact, I'd argue it's one of the greatest horror films ever made. It is not in English, but it is one that I have seen so many times over. And I'll tell you guys, if you are a Catholic and you love horror, you're going to love this one. Now, if you know Spanish, great. I know Spanish. I'm fluent in it, but I still watch it with subtitles. So, guys, my recommendation is Rec. Rec is one of the greatest horror films ever made. It is a revolutionary film. And now I'm going to tell you a little bit about what Rec is about. And I don't want you guys to go watch the American remake, which is atrocious, because the American remake removes religion from it. Sadly, the American remake rips religion out of it, and it takes the Catholicism aspect out. People are holed up inside of an apartment complex, and they're hiding in there because it seems like the whole place is overrun by zombies. Although there's really something more than whether or not they're zombies or not. And there's a very supernatural, very dark thing at work behind the scenes. It is a great film. In my opinion, can very easily crack the top 3. Phenomenal film. It spawned a few more sequels, which part 2 was very good. I don't think the others were as good. But part 1 is phenomenal. Gary, if you've not seen it, I highly recommend you get Rec. If anybody in the audience has seen it, please let me know what you think. In my opinion, Rec is one of the very best.
Wow. Yeah.
Ever heard of it?
Never heard of it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, you got another one there. You add to your list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
You got another one. All right. Now we go to number 4. Number 4 is a near and dear film to my heart. Even though you put it, it is a great one. Somebody said The Mist. The Mist, the ending was just atrocious. The ending was one of the worst endings you're ever going to find, even though The Mist overall, all of it was good except for the ending. One of the very worst endings you're ever going to find in a film. So I'm trying to find the photo, guys. Give me one moment. Here it is. Here's the photo. Number 4 for you is one of the greatest films ever made. It is The Great Frankenstein. And I can tell you right now, made by Universal Studios, the greatest Frankenstein to ever live. Boris Karloff, Colin Clive as Dr. Frankenstein, one of the greatest horror films ever made with a wonderful music score. My humble opinion, maybe because I grew up watching them, I think the greatest horror films that exist are the Universal horror ones.
Yeah.
Gary, can you tell the audience a little bit about this one? Why is this one such a special film?
Well, you kind of already named it. I mean, Boris Karloff as Frankenstein.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he kind of like there'll never be as good of a Frankenstein as Boris. And
Never.
And it's creepy. It's got all the elements that you would want in a horror movie.
Yes.
It's a classic. I don't know what else to say. It was definitely one of those, one thing I want to do with my kids is expose them to classic horror movies so that they have something to judge all the other stuff with, and this was on my list, and you just can't beat it. I mean, especially, I mean, the special effects, although they're primitive, really work well in this movie. It still holds it. It still has legs, right? It still works. It's
No
not
doubt.
something that you could say is fake. Like when he animates Frankenstein,
Yep.
that is so cool. You can see a skull and stuff. And
It's great. And Joey says there's a new one out, right? I do desire to watch it. It's from Guillermo del Toro. In fact, I lament that it's only released in a few select theaters, none of them near me. And I'm so busy with my schedule, I don't have time to drive 3 hours to watch it. So I'm going to have to wait for it to come out on Netflix. But I'd be I'd be shocked if any of them could ever reach the level of the original.
Yeah.
Great film.
Yeah. And
Now,
you know what? Horror and low tech go together. You know, Alien's awesome. It's high tech, but low tech films also have a kind of primitive sense to them that makes
but
it
I gotta
realistic.
say, Universal did such a phenomenal job in their props and their,
Yeah.
the scenery and the storyline and the acting were second to none.
Yeah.
I grew up an enormous fan, guys. I grew up an enormous fan of the Universal films. In fact, I was able to get an autograph. This was years back from Rico Browning, the last surviving Universal horror monster. He's the one that played the creature from the Black Lagoon. Met him several years back. The guy was amazing, and I think the Universal horror films are the greatest. There have never been any as good. I am very well aware of the Hammer films. I grew up with those as well. I'm well aware of the Hammer, well aware of Amicus. There's none that compare to the Universal. Period.
Yeah. So why didn't it make it in the top 10?
Why didn't Frankenstein make it? I think you're going to see why in a moment. I don't want to reveal why.
Okay.
It's one of my all-time favorites, but I don't want to reveal why. You're going to see in just a moment. Now, that is great. Now, my number 4, we're almost in the top 3, guys. My number 4 is The Exorcist.
That's
my number 4. I love it. Very well done. Very, very good film. One of the best. Definitely jarring imagery, fantastic story, fantastic score, fantastic acting. Are you not a fan of The Exorcist, I wonder?
I actually was going to put it on my list.
Okay, you were then. Okay.
The one thing that turned me off with The Exorcist was the blasphemy. And I know it's part of the movie.
Sure.
But it just that makes it tough for me to watch.
I can see that. It was tough. That was. I can definitely see that. Yeah.
But outside of that, I mean, it's a great movie, a great horror show, and I had it on my list, but then I thought, I'm going to take it off and put another movie. So I'm glad you had it on there because it deserves on the top 10. Right.
Right. Yeah. No, I completely agree. Man, I got to say, we're in our top 3 now.
Ooh,
I'm thrilled and pumped. And audience, we're about to get to you guys. So get ready. We're about to get to you. This one almost made it into my top 10. It was probably number 13 or 12 for me, which is not bad considering I think all the ones that I've got are heavy hitters, and I think they're fantastic. The next one that you've got is a great one. Everybody knows which one it was. It just got re-released in theaters, at least around me. And this one, The Great Jaws.
Yes. Now, lots of people don't think of it as a horror movie, but it is a horror movie at sea.
It definitely is.
Yeah.
How can you not think it's a horror movie?
Yeah, I didn't think about it when back in the day when it was in movie theaters. I just thought it was an action, scary action movie. But when I started doing some more research in it, it was clear that it was made as a horror movie, and the cast is amazing. Roy Schreider, Richard Dreyfuss, they're all amazing. The photography is amazing. And the cool thing is that even when it was already put in the canister and out at movies, apparently Spielberg was still tweaking the movie. Like he had like 2 or 3 different cuts of the movie, and he was gauging to see which parts had the biggest screams. And then he chose those parts for the general release.
Oh man!
So
I didn't know that.
Tons of tweaking in the movie, and For me, it's just a phenomenal
Oh,
movie.
great film. And it really does hold up very well as well.
Yeah,
Yet
it
another
does.
one that holds up very well, doesn't it?
Yep, absolutely. So yeah, it's a classic.
Oh, yeah. There's no doubt.
Yeah, the
And the
movie
next
score
one.
too.
Oh, yeah, it's great. It's great. Great acting, great everything. The next one is a great one. Now, funny enough, what a hater, man. Guys, I tell you one thing, when you hear Sam singing, that's number one on the list. I love you, Sam. It's your hater, man. I love you, brother. Now, funny enough, the next one that I've got on the list, the actor who is the titular villain, I don't think he is the best one for the role that played the role. I think I'd put him as number two. In fact, I would put the greatest one that ever played the role of Dracula as Bela Lugosi.
Yeah,
I don't think there was anyone that was even close to as good as Bela Lugosi. Didn't need the blood, didn't need the fangs. His acting was second to none. He is the greatest, the goat of Dracula to have ever lived. Greater than Nosferatu, which was a ripoff of Dracula. Bela Lugosi was the greatest of all. And Christopher Lee was number two. But I'm sorry, I have Horror of Dracula as the greatest Dracula film ever made. It breaks my heart because Bela Lugosi is my all-time favorite Dracula. But for me, Peter Cushing is the greatest Van Helsing to ever walk the earth. He stole the show, did a magnificent job, did a job where he turned Van Helsing into a solid Christian, a believer in the Lord. In fact, it had the element that Lugosi's Dracula didn't have, a very deep Christian element. In fact, part two was very deeply Christian. He was a theologian. He relied heavily on God to defeat evil. Part one in America was known as The Horror of Dracula. In Britain, where it debuted first, it was just known as Dracula. In America, of course, there was a confusion. Okay, well, we have many Dracula, as people know, Bela Lugosi. So they tacked on horror of, but it really was just Dracula. One of the greatest Dracula films ever made, I think, in my opinion, the greatest. And also, as one that grew up as a big fan of Bram Stoker's, his original novel of Dracula, I find it to be the closest to the original. What are your particular thoughts? And have you seen The Horror of Dracula?
I saw it a long time ago, but
Okay.
I agree. This is it's almost like a genre within itself, within the Dracula genre. So it was very good. I just don't remember much of it, but I love Cushing as well. He's a great actor, and so I can see why this is on the list. That makes sense. You're right. This is making more and more sense.
Yeah. I agree. Now we're down to our top. Guys, we do this once a year, guys. Let's have a little bit of fun. Let us have a little bit of fun.
Let's
Hey,
jump there.
yeah, a little bit of a jump there. Yeah. Here is your number two, and your number two is one of the very best. I love this one. Indeed, it is a horror film. It truly is a horror film, and it is Alien.
Alien.
Alien. That could very easily have been number one. That's a great film.
Yeah, exactly. I love it just because it's the special effects, even though it's so old, it still stands up today. It's still believable. It was groundbreaking. You didn't know what to expect. and the terror was like slowly revealing throughout the movie till finally the alien reveals itself, and even you don't really get a good view of the alien through most of the picture, which is kind of
Yep.
a Hitchcock kind of thing, you know. But I love it. But I love Aliens also. But I put
Yeah.
this one just because I remember watching the theater and not knowing what to expect each moment. Where Aliens kind of knew
Sure.
there's going
Yeah,
to be an
yeah.
alien, and it's just what new is there going to new
There were
twist.
so many of them. There were so many of them. You knew it. You knew
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
Yeah. But I'd say that, I mean, you nailed it. This one is true horror. Aliens was much more much more action. I mean, you're going to get action. They're going to be blowing aliens away with big firearms in part
yeah,
2. Alien, not only do you not know, but I don't want to reveal too much, but you don't really know Sigourney Weaver is the main heroine until the
yeah.
much later. You know what I
Right,
mean? That's a surprise. That's a surprise. So
right.
it is, I would argue, unpredictable, and I still think it holds up very well today.
Yeah, and it's got lots of interesting subplots, like the corporations doing stuff and behind the scenes,
Oh yeah.
and then you have the alien planet, which is pretty creepy, where they're trying to find the distress signal,
Oh yeah.
and of course, the guy gets implanted and all that stuff. It's just really good from beginning to end,
No doubt.
but that's not to detract from Aliens plural. So I'm glad you have that on there.
Right. They're both very good. Both
Yeah,
very, very good. Unfortunately, cannot say the same for the later ones. Cannot.
yeah.
My number 2 very well could have been number 1. One of my all-time favorites. Indeed, they have remade this film before multiple times, and there are many iterations of the story told of a werewolf. Unfortunately, none of them can touch the greatest werewolf to ever walk, the great Lon Chaney Jr. None of them can touch the
Oh yeah.
original Wolfman. None of them. In my opinion, the greatest Wolfman film ever made. And Lon Chaney Jr., criminally underrated actor. One of the very best, who not only played the Wolfman, played played Dracula as well, played the Mummy, and played Frankenstein. One of the greatest ever. Isn't that right, Gary?
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. Lon Chaney, one of the greatest actors out there in
Yep.
classic Hollywood. And you're right. He never got the props,
He never did.
but he deserves it. So, yeah.
That
And
was a
that's,
good one, wasn't it?
yeah. And that's a tough one to pull off, too, because it really pushes the boundaries of belief, right? You
Oh,
really
yeah.
do have to suspend your belief. So, unless he is able to sell it, it's going to fall flat on his face.
Oh,
So,
big time, big time. You got to be able to sell it. Otherwise, it's going to completely fall flat. And I think that he did such a great, great job.
yep, totally agree.
These old ones hold up well, guys. I mean, for people wondering, these old ones hold up very well. And in fact, guys, we only do this once a year. We're going to hit you yet again with those dancing skeletons for that countdown. Can you guys predict? Can you all predict what our number 1 is? Can you get it right? I'd love to see, can you predict at least one of the number 1s coming up? I'd be willing to bet none of y'all can predict it, but I'd be shocked if any of y'all can predict the number 1 for me or for Gary. It's about to come up. Now, the next one It's a great one. As I mentioned, your number one is a phenomenal one. And I was very clear. The actor that played the titular villain is the greatest Dracula of all time. There is no doubt. Bela Lugosi is the GOAT of Dracula actors. There's no better. Isn't this a phenomenal one, Gary? You're number one.
Yeah, old time Hollywood, Bela Lugosi. I mean, he made the genre, right? I mean, he's the one that does the voice. He's the one that, he's scary. He's mysterious. He's even somewhat like even romantic. He had that vibe, which the Bram Stoker movie kind of went a little overboard with. I
agree.
I remember.
Yes.
But it's just the ultimate classic horror movie, and that's all I have to say. I mean, it's really good, and that's my favorite.
Yeah, great film. My favorite. He is my favorite Dracula of all time. There is no better Dracula. I'm an enormous fan of Christopher Lee. Enormous, but Christopher Lee lived in an era where blood dominated the screens. Blood, prosthetic fangs, and what have you. Bela Lugosi didn't need that. Bela Lugosi was brooding, was romantic, was phenomenal in every way. His acting was great. I'm going to be plain and simple. He was born to play the role of Dracula.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. Great Dracula. Can't go wrong. It is a great one. Now we reach the time where I'm going to reveal my all-time favorite, my number one. And indeed, not only is it my number one horror film, it is my favorite movie of all time. And I've seen it so many times, I've lost count. I've made my daughter watch it so many times, she's probably furious. And the acting done by the great Claude Rains was second to none. He dominated the role in a phenomenal manner. His acting as the madman that went mad because of invisibility.
Visible Man. Interesting. I would not have guessed that.
It is my number one. It will always be my number one. The special effects hold up even today, still today, but what holds up even better is the acting. The acting is second to none. As the madman who is slowly deteriorating, losing his mind because of the potion of invisibility is taken, it truly is a heartbreaking scene to see him slowly losing his mind, but his acting is magnificent. His role as the madman, Invisible Man, is the very best. Gary, tell me you've seen this one.
Yes, I have. Yeah, and you're right. It is very good in that. The acting is very good. It's a classic movie, and it's a difficult movie too.
Yes,
right?
Because it's a difficult one. Yep.
You got to pull off the Invisible Man bit without it being too obvious, and I think they did a good job. And that's a great movie. Classic.
Oh yeah. What about one that you would have liked to have included? Maybe you can mention. Is there one that you would have liked to include in the top 10? How about we both list at least one? One that we would have both liked that we just didn't put there. What are your thoughts? Do you have one?
Well, it was Exorcist. There's also there was a couple of movies. I'm trying to think what the name of it was. That was really based on Warren's.
Conjuring.
Yes, that was good. And maybe Amityville Horror.
Okay.
It was okay, except when I saw it again, I didn't realize the guy was walking around so much in those tighty whities that it just ruined the whole movie. Right, the book was phenomenal. The movie was okay, but I think Exorcist would have been there if I could squeeze another one, and maybe, like you said, The Conjuring. Maybe that was an interesting movie.
Gotcha.
What about you?
My honorable mention would be House on Haunted Hill from Vincent Price.
Oh, interesting.
That was one of my all-time favorites. I love that film. That was great. Very well done. In my opinion, it still holds up very well today. Your classic, scary, haunted house film. Vincent Price, magnificent horror actor, one of the greatest to have ever lived. Did a great job. I even like the remake, but the original one is the very best. And the other honorable mention, of course, even though Cathal Ryan, Evil Dead. I love the original Evil Dead. That one was great too.
Good.
That's all I got. What about you?
Sure.
That's a good. Have you seen House on Haunted Hill?
Yes, I have. Yeah,
You have?
and Vincent Price, again, he's one of those guys that was born for horror movies.
Oh yeah.
He, that and House of Wax, he was good in that too. But yeah, that's a good movie. Yeah, that probably would have made it in my top 10 too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
How about you got at least 10 more minutes? We got 10 more minutes. We'll see what people have to say. You good with that?
Okay.
Or 5, 10
absolutely.
minutes?
Let's
do
it.
10 minutes. All right. Tusi Joey says his favorite is Walking Dead, seasons 1 to 6. I was never a fan. I don't know if you like Walking Dead. You ever a fan of that, Gary?
No, it's a soap opera with zombies.
Never liked it. I didn't like it.
Yeah.
None of them. Yeah. I thought it was pretty bad. James, what did I miss? What super chat did I miss, man? He's summoning Franklin, man, because I missed it. Let me try and see. What did I miss? I'm looking. I'm trying to see what I missed. I didn't miss a single one. What do you mean? This one, we prayed for Sam. I got no clue what you're talking about. We read that one. What are you talking about, man? I didn't miss any super chats.
Yeah.
I didn't miss any, James. You're wild, man. You probably went to get a drink, man. You're wrong. I didn't miss any, man. I read all of them, man. John Knowles says, a little off topic, but I've been talked about a lot lately. But my brain is mush, man. Do you believe in aliens? I believe they are demons being pretending to be. Tucker has talked about it frequently. Definitely spirit beings. I have no clue what Tucker has talked about, to be very clear. Wouldn't be shocked if there were aliens. I don't know. I don't really have a solid opinion on that. What about you, Gary?
Yeah, my opinion is I would sincerely doubt that if there are aliens, it's probably microbial or something somewhere out there in the galaxy. But I don't believe that aliens could make it to planet Earth. I think it's just so. If you think about the odds and everything, compounds, I think it's incredibly unlikely that aliens would be here on Earth.
Yeah, gotcha. An American Werewolf in London was great. Lino Molina, we got you there. You're right. That was a really good one. That was a very good and great effects as well. He says it's one where he says, okay, pagan. All right. That's what I didn't read, man. I'm sorry, man. All right, man. We read that one. Gary Shanley show. Man, I'm going to hang you upside down, James. I didn't miss any of them, man. I don't ever miss super chats, guys. I don't ever miss
Not inspired at all.
Yeah. The Howling was very good. I like that one, man. How about Frankenstein's remake? Guys, you're all invoking Franklin, man. Yeah, we mentioned that.
Frankenstein.
I think it's very clear which Dracula. I think it's very clear. He picked Dracula as number one. That's the Bela Lugosi one. Brother.
The original Bela Lugosi one.
Yeah.
Now there's other good remakes. I mean,
Sure.
they all have their own charm, but I mean that's kind of like the classic one.
Oh, there's no doubt. Let's bring up the brother Mythical, who's been here for a bit, man. I just noticed. Sorry about that. Mythical, what's up, my man?
Hey, how's it going, guys? Love the countdown.
I'm glad you liked it, man.
Great.
We're having a little bit of lighthearted fun, man. I'm glad you enjoyed it, brother.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, I got a list here, but I think we got a little bit of overlap, although I was kind of back here going, no, when you said one of them, because I thought I had that one uniquely locked up.
Let me ask you this.
Which one's that?
Oh, yeah, go for it. Tell me. Let's hear it, man. But before you hear it, I have to ask you, because there were none that Gary mentioned that I hated. I loved them all. Were there any that we mentioned that you hated?
No, not at all.
Good. We want to hear yours.
I thought it was a great list.
Good.
Yeah. So I got at number 10, I have Motel Hell.
Okay.
And at number 9, at number 9, I have The Gate.
Oh my goodness, the little creatures. Classic 80s film. Classic.
For sure.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Number 8, I've got Waxwork.
Waxwork was great with the actor from Gremlins, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah, I love Waxwork.
I think so. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I've seen that movie probably about 10 times, but it's been a while.
Gary, you got to watch that. It's a good one. It's a good one.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like a guy opens up a wax museum, and then there are actually all these different fairy tales and stuff.
Don't bring it. It's good, man. If Gary hasn't seen it, you got to watch it. It still holds up well.
It's great. Cool. It's great. And then at number 7, I have Tales from the Crypt Demon Knight.
Okay, part 1. That's good.
Yeah.
with what's his name? That bald actor that came on in Titanic. I forgot his name.
Billy Zane.
Billy Zane. That's a good one. Part 1 is good.
Yep. Number 6, I've got Wishmaster.
Good one. That's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that one.
Number 5, The Fly.
Which one?
The one with
Jeff
Goldblum or
Goldblum.
what? Yeah.
You know, I was going to put that on my list. I thought about
movie.
it. Yeah,
Which one,
he does
Gary?
a really good job.
Are you talking about the classic or
the Goldblum one?
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's the best one. That's the best
That
one.
movie scared the crap out of me when I was a kid.
Yeah.
He does such a good job, man. I mean, he looks.
Back in the day,
he's
my
perfect for
dad
the
had
part.
that. My dad had that perm just like that, and he was like real hairy like him and everything. It scared the crap out of me. I couldn't even look at my dad sometimes after I saw that movie because I thought he was just going to start molting.
Oh, we love it, man. We love it.
And then number 4, End of Days.
End of Days with Arnold.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I just didn't like the ending, but yeah.
No. Up into that though, that movie was wild.
Yeah, the ending bummed me out, but yeah, I'm with you. It's a good one. That's a good one.
Okay, number 3 is one that I don't know. I'm sure you guys have heard of it, but probably not very popular amongst people. Trilogy of Terror from the 70s.
Of course, it's Trilogy of Terror is from it's that figure with a knife, I believe.
Yeah, the little African doll.
Of course. Yeah. And shout out to Mick Vine. That's a very good one.
Reanimator's great. Reanimator is great.
It is.
And at number 2, I had House on Haunted Hill. That was the one where I was going, no!
The one that I put up or the remake?
The one you put up.
I love it, man. I love it, man.
That's
I love
my
it even
number
more
2.
now. It wasn't that a great one?
Oh, phenomenal. One of my favorite movies of all time. I still fall asleep with it on sometimes and just...
Man.
I'm crazy Price like that.
GOAT.
He's the man. He is the absolute man.
I mean, that guy is such a don, such a legend in that film. I don't want to say why. Audience, go watch it. That's a great film.
Absolutely fantastic. And then at number 1, I have The Exorcist 3.
Okay, I can see that completely. Very, very underrated. Yes. Magnificent film. Part 2, I'm not going to give my comments. Not good. No. Part 3, genuinely chilling. Genuinely scary. I can definitely see that 100%. And I'm definitely
Brad Dourif gave, I think, like the performance of. I think Brad Dourif gave the performance of a lifetime in that one.
There's no doubt. Gary, do you remember part 3?
I did not see part 3.
Oh, you got to see it, man.
That hospital scene.
Crawling on the ceiling. Oh my God, man. That is. Oh my goodness. It gets me every time.
Yeah, that was such a good film, man. Gary, now you get me. Audience, you guys have a great list to look at now, man. You guys have such a good one, man. Mythical brother, thank you for sharing that, my friend.
Absolutely. Hey, great show tonight, guys. I really loved it.
God bless you, brother. Thank you so much for coming up, brother. Have a great evening.
See you guys.
Yeah, that was great, man. Thank you for sharing that. We'll take one final super chat, and then we're going to close the doors to this dojo. Guys, if you've enjoyed this, let us know. We'll do it yearly, man. But the next time we got to drag David out from under the covers. Next time we got to do that. Guys, I had such a great time. If y'all are wondering whose idea was this, it was your idea, guys. Guys, it was yours because I dropped a poll in our WhatsApp theology group, and I asked, because Gary reached out and said, hey, let's talk about Purgatory. I said, let's do it. I said, wait a minute. Do you guys want us to do a show talking about not only Purgatory, but our top 10 favorite horror movies? You guys voted unanimously yes, except for Joey. Joey said, no, I'm a heretic. I'm Ari. I love Arius. Joey's hilarious. We love Joey, man. Joey says, I really like Deliver Us from Evil. Suspense it builds, and the perspective from a detective and a priest. I love that film, and I'll tell you right now, that is a film based upon Ralph Sarchi, whom I know personally. He is a person that I do know well. That is a film I really do recommend. Deliver Us from Evil. If I'm correct, Eric Bana, is that the name? Let me see. Do you remember that film? Have you seen that one?
Yeah, I did see that one. Yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah, it was a good one. Eric Bana, yes, that's the name of the actor. That's a good film. Joey, that really is a good one. You picked a good one there, man. Yeah, although that one is pretty violent, man. That one's pretty violent. Greatest group on earth. Our closed WhatsApp group, guys. We love you guys. I got to tell you all, this was so much fun. Gary, I had such a blast talking with you, such a blast talking about Purgatory, talking about horror movies. And guys, we're going to continue doing it more. Gary, before we close the doors of the dojo, because people are here on the Patristic Pillars or in the Apocryphal Apocalypse, what is up with you? You doing another chill stream anytime soon, or when is that coming up?
Yeah, I might do one tomorrow, actually, if I wake up. If I don't, then it'll be Saturday. But
gotcha. But you got one coming soon.
Yep, we are digging into Cyril of Jerusalem. So that's I'm thrilled and pumped for that one. It's awesome subject and can't wait.
Absolutely. That's great, man.
How about you, William? What are you up to?
Yeah, I got a lot. Tomorrow I will be doing a show in the evening. We'll be talking in honor of All Saints Day. Going to be talking about prayer to saints, veneration of saints. We're going to be looking at that tomorrow. I'll be doing that show tomorrow evening. That'll be a lot of fun. Yeah, I'm really, really thrilled and pumped. And yeah, I've not seen that one, John. I'll definitely check that out. But yeah, I'm happy, and I'm happy to be back with you, Gary. And hopefully next week we'll be back and we'll be doing shows with the brother David as well. That'll be a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Awesome.
With that being said, guys, thank you for your phenomenal support. I will give a shout out to all of you guys, even the hater James who thought I missed a super chat. We love all you guys. And guys, let me repeat it, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart. We are here doing what we do, ministry, because of your support. We are incredibly grateful. You guys are all goated. You guys are all phenomenal. God bless all you guys. We're going to be back again very, very soon again. Pray for all of us. And guys, since you guys were so amazing and you love the countdown, we're going to close it out with a minute countdown of those skeletons dancing. Guys, be responsible tomorrow if you guys go trick-or-treating. Be responsible, but don't forget above all to remember those suffering souls in purgatory. Don't forget to pray for them. Don't forget to pray for the dead. Don't forget to live out your Catholic faith. Guys, we love you all. We'll see you all again soon. God bless you.